Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Sunday on this channel where we talk about all things sci-fi and fantasy. And by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today we're going to be talking about another family with a great father, and that is the Fantastic Four family. There has been some news and a huge rumor on the Fantastic Four that we're going to kind of break down. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so as of yesterday, Eric Pearson is confirmed to be writing the new script for Fantastic Four because you know it's getting ready to shoot, but it also has undergone a number of rewrites. And this is according to Variety that he has been hired to write this last incarnation of the script. And this is important because his projects are known to go through. This guy is sort of a closer when it comes to movie scripts. He's very well trusted and he gets the job done. So this is important because he also has his hands in the Blade franchise. He has been sort of reworking that script a bit from what I hear, and that's a good thing. He is a closer. He is very well respected in the industry. Now, the big news here is not the fact that he's rewriting the script, but just what could be brought to the table. Because as of right now, we haven't gotten a whole lot of official things about this movie. We know very little about it other than that it takes place in the 60s. However, what if it don't take place in the 60s in a traditional way? Because the early theory now is that this movie is going to be more of a galactic-based movie. They're going to be traveling through space. They're going to be going throughout the galaxy in this movie, not just staying on Earth. So I say that this is a theory, however, because it's important to note that the film has gone through several script writings at this point. But one of the earliest things we've heard about this movie is that it is going to take place in space. That's kind of one of the earliest things that was reported on the movie that would deal with this galactic threat, that they would be hunting down Galactus. That's the early thing that we heard about this movie. Now, whether that proves to be true or not remains to be seen. After all, they have had several scripts that they've gone through, so all of that could have changed or none of it. But there has also been reported things like there are a number of Silver Surfers in the movie, but our official right now is that there is one. We have a lot of things we've heard about this movie, so we're kind of gonna theorize right now. We're gonna say that it's all theory. Because until it's actually confirmed what the official plot is, you can only take everything you hear with a grain of salt. So let's kind of look at it that way. Because if it is taking place mostly in space, that makes a lot of sense. Now, this makes a lot of sense for a variety of reasons. Number one, you do have this Silver Surfer that's going around at the same time. And being that it does take place in an alternate past, in an alternate dimension other than the 616, we do know that it kind of can do whatever it wants. And this alternate version gives us a history in which we have a very different Silver Surfer, but it is a Silver Surfer from the comics. There was a girl Silver Surfer in the comics, and that is the one that they are using. This is not that big of a thing, though, because by the end of that movie, I believe that the Silver Surfer that we see in this movie will be dead, and Galactus will somehow make his way to the 616, at which point, so will they. Now, I say this because this movie is sort of set in this past but on a different dimension. They could very well find themselves in modern times on our dimension. And it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And being that they are in space a majority of this movie, I really like this scenario. I like this because it doesn't even guarantee that they're in that dimension the entire time. They could, in fact, transfer into our dimension halfway through. Really, when you look at this movie being sort of this space movie, being this galaxy movie, it's kind of bringing in those same vibes, at least for me, that something along the lines of Guardians of the Galaxy would bring. Or even like if they did a Nova movie, which they are still planning on doing a Nova movie or a Nova show. We do know that that is still a project that is out there in the world. It's still there somewhere to do. And it's going to be important because that is going to be something that either they start here with this movie or it sets up that movie. And honestly, I would kind of like to see Nova stay out of it for a while because I think getting him from another dimension would sort of hurt that character. We already have an established Nova Corps, and I think that they do it extremely well. I think that having a Nova Corps from another dimension would really sort of not make a whole lot of sense. Sure, we know they exist in other dimensions, and bringing one or two over into some sort of crossover at some point might make a little bit more sense eventually, but having Nova, who we know is out there somewhere, who we know has to exist, it would be better, I think, to have him come from the 616. That's what I think in terms of Nova. I think that doing it any other way really does sort of hurt the character. But that's just me. But the reason that this setting is important for the Fantastic Four is that this is something that's never been done before in the Fantastic Four movies. We've always kind of seen them be more Earth-based. Sure, we saw them a little bit getting into a little bit of spacefaring stuff, just in terms of origin, and then in terms of the one movie having to deal with the Silver Surfer. But this is the MCU, and the MCU has to do things bigger. They have to do things in the biggest possible way. We've grown accustomed to this, it's what we expect, but then also it's strictly different from everything else that they've done, and I think it's time they do something else. So I do like this theory a lot that it is going to be more of a galactic movie. This is actually sort of telling also of the different artwork we've gotten. Because if you look at the artwork, it is very Norman Rockwell. It's very much the picturesque 60s material that never officially existed. But what if it actually did? What if this is sort of more of their 60s might have had some things that our 60s didn't. The buildings don't quite match up to what we know as the 60s, and a lot of people have noticed that. So with this rumor, it kind of also makes that make a little bit more sense. It makes it so that we have to ask that question. How does the artwork that's promoting the movie fit in with the actual movie itself? And if it is a spacefaring movie, if it is more of a galaxy-based movie, how close to a Guardians of the Galaxy are we going to get? Because I don't think they're going to make it as comical as the Guardians of the Galaxy was. I don't see that as a possibility. However, I do hope for a little bit of humor only because I like my superheroes to be a little lighter sometimes. I don't like for everything to be dark, doom, and gloom. I like for my superheroes to be an escape. So setting them up in this world where it doesn't have the same technology that we have on our Earth, and then sending them into this space in their world, potentially to somehow get through some dimensional portal and come to our dimension, is actually so cool. I think that with this rumor, I may be more excited for a Fantastic Four movie than I have ever been before. And I actually liked the Fantastic Four movies from the past. Although the last one was by far not the best movie at all, I do think that this theory and this new script writer is a good thing. I think that we're going to get a Fantastic Four movie that is very much worthy of the MCU. That's the hope, anyway, because they're doing something very different. And bringing them into our dimension is going to be so great. It's going to be something that sets up so much. They've got to make sure they do it right. This has got to be the best Fantastic Four movie. So the fact that they have gone through so many scripts, that they've gone through so many different things to get to this point, only makes me have more faith that they're going to do it right, that they're somehow going to do this movie justice. But I want to know from you guys, do you think that this theory is good? And what do you think of this new writer writing this and also having his hands in some other things along with that? Do you think that this is a good scenario? Do you think that this Fantastic Four movie may be the best yet? I want to hear from you. As always, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below. Make sure you are sharing this video with all of your friends. They're definitely gonna want to be a part of this conversation as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free and it helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.